Hi, Matthew. Welcome to Built by Many. This is the show where I get to interview the brilliant hearts and minds of the visionaries who are really stewarding this platform. Well, I call Terralux a platform, but we are all partners in stewarding a greater future for all. And, I'm so blessed to be a content creator for Terralux, so I get to meet and interview incredible people like you. And I'm coming in here with a little bit of idea about what you do, but not much. Just really curious and excited to really hear more about it. I feel like there's a lot of alignment between what you do with the Commonstead and Terralux, which is also why we're partners. So I'm excited just to highlight what this is all about and let people know, how to join in on the vision. So thank you for being
Awesome.
here. Yeah,
Yeah, it's great to be here, Rachel. Thank you so much for inviting me onto the show, and I hope that I can deliver some great value to your audience.
great. It sounds like you're pretty comfortable with it. You had your own show for a while and I'm so grateful that you
Yeah,
took, yeah,
yep.
jumped in.
Yeah, I've been very comfortable on here. I did have my own show numerous times over the years and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love talking with people and learning from them and just having great conversations and seeing where it goes.
Mm-hmm. That's why we like to call this show Built by Many because it always takes a village to do something epic, because we want to
Absolutely.
leave our mark on the world in a way that will last beyond us, right? We like to talk about
Hmm.
multi-generational wealth and legacy over here. And we wouldn't be able to
Yes.
do that without tying it into our health, not only our individual health, but like the health of our systems and the way it connects to nature. And this is it's come more and more aware to my attention that we are sort of reaching a sort of critical point of we actually need more people to get on board with these things, and I'm so excited to let people more know that they're available. So could you please tell me a little bit about the Commonstead and your maybe more the vision behind it? Like, what's your mission? What are you bringing forward through the Commonstead?
Yeah, at the Commonstead, we really exist to bring together the solutions that help homes be self-sufficient on every level.
Mm,
So we go out and we find great technologies and products that can help homeowners, property owners be self-sufficient with their energy, whether that's production and or storage, as well as water systems, as well as food systems, and health and wellness fall into that category too. We also do intend to have things around finance and really just helping free people from the current systems on every level, really help people take their power back. And we also do this with commercial businesses as well. Excuse me, although they're not going to be fully self-sufficient, right?
right.
Right.
Businesses.
But so we've gone out and formed great partnerships with manufacturers of incredible technologies and products, and then we worked with them to help build out what we call a dealer installer network. We do this all across North America and into many other countries throughout the world. So basically, bringing in other companies who would align with a specific technology vertical, where adding that technology to their existing offering will complement their business and their clients. And then we also bring in affiliates to help drive sales to those dealer installers.
Uh-huh. Wow. Okay. How long have you been doing this for?
We launched the Commonstead in August of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But obviously, you've been in the field for much longer than that, and you just kind of saw a way to bring it all together into one platform.
Yeah, correct. I've been over a decade in the renewable energy sector, over 5 years in the food systems,
Wow.
and then energy efficiencies, water technologies, self sufficiency
Yeah.
on every level.
So you dabbled in all of
5
it.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, had exposure to all kinds of different areas of the self sufficiency resiliency
Hmm.
space, and it's now been just a culmination of over a decade worth of work where
Wow.
I've expanded a network all over the world, met so many great founders and innovative technology developers, and just continue to come across more and more great things every day.
That's so
And what's
cool.
so exciting about it is that there's so many pieces of the puzzle that exist and so many people looking for the different pieces of the puzzle, but they often don't know where to begin.
So
And we
true.
get to be a bridge between those technologies and the people that are looking for them,
Mm-hmm.
and then build a distribution model as well as a sales model attached to all of it, so that we can create more awareness, inspire more action, drive more results, and just continue to grow upon that.
That's awesome. So can I ask how many affiliates do you currently have?
So over 2,000 affiliates now.
Over 2,000 affiliates. Wow. And is that like something you're actively expanding or
Yep. Yeah,
that's
we're
so
adding new
cool.
people to it every day.
Awesome. So
Yeah,
what
and then
is
we teach and
your
train them
uh-huh.
on everything to we teach them how to go out and find companies. So just one example, one of the technologies is called an Enitech energy optimizer. This thing will reduce electricity consumption in a commercial business by 20 to 35%.
Wow.
Now, you think about a technology like that, it's a 25-year-old technology, been deployed in about 160,000 commercial businesses to date. And industries like electrical contractors or HVAC companies or mechanical companies that work with commercial businesses could add a product like that to their existing offering. So we teach and train
Mm-hmm.
our affiliates on how to go out and tap into their network and find companies in those verticals, as one example,
Yeah.
that could become a part of the Commonstead and deploy that technology to their clientele, as well as service sales that we bring in, because we also teach and train those affiliates again on how to tap into their network, use their skill set to network and grow their network, to find company owners that are open minded to saving 20 to 35% on their electricity bills.
Right. How many people
Right.
would you say are open to that versus not? What's the ratio?
The vast,
Uh-huh.
vast, vast, vast majority are open minded to it,
Cool. Okay,
because we're
cool.
not asking them for any commitment out of the gate. All we're asking them to do is be open minded to seeing what this can do for them. If it can add value to their business, they can choose to move forward or not. But if they don't
Mm-hmm.
know, if they're closed minded, they're never going to realize what's possible.
So that's cool. It sounds like a lot of the sales role is really just like informing people of what is
It
out there and
is.
how it could benefit them.
It really is. The way that I always teach people is your job isn't to sell anybody anything. Your job's to get people open minded to exploring what's possible for themselves.
Cool. I really like that. And it really what's coming up for me is the alignment of profit with purpose, which is something
Yeah.
Ari talks a lot about, and I saw it's also on your website. So could you speak a little bit more about that? Because I feel like it's an interesting tension, right? The idea that we can profit with purpose and there doesn't have to be this, like, business doesn't have to be a zero sum game, which I think is maybe the old school way of looking at it. So I would love just to hear a little bit how you think about that approach to sales. Yeah.
Yeah, the focus for me and what I really work to impart on others is find ways to solve problems that are impacting a lot of people.
Hmm.
Today, our energy landscape is in a terrible place.
Hmm.
The energy infrastructure is old. We don't have enough as we continue to electrify things.
Hmm.
And we've got more and more technologies coming online every day that are electrified, that are going to be pulling from this already fragile grid, as one example.
Hmm.
So, why don't we first utilize the electricity that we have available more efficiently?
Hmm.
And that's what this technology does. So we're
Hmm.
in a situation where we are adding value by helping commercial business owners with money they're already spending, right? They're already paying their $5,000 a month electricity bills. Now let's save you some money there and then redirect those savings dollars into the technologies that save it. So instead of taking a whole bunch of money out of their own pocket to buy a new technology, let's utilize a financing vehicle so they can pay no money out of pocket. Let's say we're saving them 20%. Well, what used to be $5,000 a month is now $1,000 a month that they've saved, which then a portion of those savings go towards paying for the technology.
Hmm.
So they've been able to save money without spending anything up front and use those savings to invest in a technology that gives them the ability to use less electricity overall, which is obviously a big value add. And then they're still putting money into their pockets in savings on a month to month basis, which then they can start accumulating and redeploying into
Right.
the energy production side. So our thought process is let's
Interesting.
reduce before you produce.
Hmm.
Because if you're using less electricity, the solar array, as an example, that you're going to put on your building is now smaller than what it would have been before at the
Hmm.
higher electricity rate at which you were using it in the past.
Hmm. Nice. So that would be then like the next technology that you would consult. It's like first you do this and then you do this.
The idea is that we have many solutions to offer to people. What we
Hmm.
go with first generally is electricity savings and water savings. Those are the two that I lead with the most.
Hmm.
We can help 20 to 35% on electricity, 20 to 30% on water, two typically unavoidable expenses that commercial businesses are paying and that have the rates continually increasing year over year. So we focus there, help them reduce. Then we can focus on what other things can we bring into your business to either A, help you save more, or B, start producing.
Hmm. And then produce it for your own use or produce it
Yep.
and pass that on to energy that others can use. How does that work?
It's kind of a combination of both. If
Okay.
you've got a good net metering program in your state or city, you can produce, utilize it in house, and then the extra production would actually be fed into the grid, at which other people can then be utilizing that
Right.
power. And you're paid typically in a one-to-one credit system. For every kilowatt hour you produce, they give you a credit, and what that
Wow.
does overall for your monthly bill is drive it down.
It just seems like a total no-brainer. Like you guys have struck a gold mine, right?
I would
It just
agree.
seems really necessary. And I've never, are there a lot
Yeah.
of people doing this? Or are you
Well, I mean, the solar
very,
industry has been around for a long time.
right?
Commercial
Okay.
solar has been available for everybody, for decades now. It's
Mm-hmm.
coming down in price. The panels are getting more efficient. Now battery storage is coming in. It's really the great unlocker. We can
Mm-hmm.
help people in multiple ways when it comes to the production, and then with the storage, impacting not only the cost of their electricity on a month-to-month basis, but also impacting some of their biggest charges, which are called demand charges, which are incurred basically by a reading taking usually in about a 15-minute interval at the highest peak usage time, and they charge you substantial money for that. Demand charges can make up
Mm-hmm.
40 to 60% of a commercial business's electricity costs.
Wow.
And by implementing these two technologies in parallel, even implementing just the storage alone, you can drastically impact their demand charges, saving these companies massive amounts of money on a month to month basis.
Wow. Okay. That's cool. Can I ask personal question?
Yeah.
Are you fully self-reliant? Like, are you off grid? How do you live? What's your, okay.
No, no, no. I was, and then we
Hmm.
moved back into the city to do family. We've
Uh-huh.
got three kids now, and my wife wanted to be
Yeah.
around her sister who was having babies.
Yeah.
Um, our next move is back out to the country. We were on 100 acres in the past and very self-sufficient there, and I miss that every
Oh,
day.
you miss it. Okay.
Oh,
So you'll get back
absolutely.
there one day. Yeah.
Not far. It's not far.
Not
We
far
want to get
from you.
back there ASAP.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. Do you also grow your own food? Or were you? Would you?
we were. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
We were
cool.
producing our own food. We had
Yeah.
chickens and ducks, and
The whole gang.
Yeah, the whole gang, and
Whole
not fully
shebang.
self-sufficient,
Okay.
but that's the that was our goal. We just weren't there
Yeah.
long enough to get all of these things into place,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the intention. And I help people all over the world do this. I've done business now in 54 countries and well over
Yeah.
1,000 design and builds on the food system side, and then done solar and storage all over United States and Canada, helping people with energy efficiency technologies in 40 countries, the water technologies in 100 countries. So
Wow.
we got not only have I practiced what I've preached, but we've also done it, thousands of times all over the world.
That's so cool. So this is the Commonstead is your company. You founded it?
I'm a partner in the
Okay.
company. Yeah,
Okay.
Charles Thompson is the man's name who really is the original kind of like vision of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there's myself and a number of other partners that are kind of the key uh, owners inside the company, if you will. And yeah, we're helping scale it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I just love the affiliate program because it's like such a good cause. Um, so for people to really be able to, make a living doing something that's good, and
Yeah, and it's
that's
simple.
awesome.
They don't need, they can have a full-time job and work at this spare time,
That's true.
especially if they're interested in these things for themselves. They believe that the future is up to us to create and take our power back.
Right.
Then this resonates very well with them, and then they're going to be proud to talk to their network and their friends.
Right. When you have the passion, you really care about it. It's something
Yeah.
different. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, give me a second. So I wanted to update you also because I'm at Big Hollow Green, which is our farm
Yep.
project, Regenerative Incubator and Lodge. So we're working with Flourish Food
Yeah.
Systems, which I understood you're also on their team. And we're planning out a whole sovereign farm here. It's gonna be pretty awesome, and it's gonna take a lot of time to do it. Um,
Yes.
we were planning to have this whole season of open farm days. So once a month, it would be like an open farm day. People can book a day pass and come spend the whole day with us on a farm, and it would be like organized activities. There would be a planting, so it would be educational, farm to table meals, a whole day in the land. So we were
Right.
preparing for our first open farm day this upcoming weekend. I started posting it everywhere on the Facebook groups here, right? Because I'm like 2 hours north of New York City, and it's just a
Yeah.
lot of farmland. Like I'm from upstate New York. I was born in
Okay.
Rochester, but I moved to Arizona when I was young, so I had no idea how vast and green it is up here, and it's just gorgeous, and there's so much abundance just in the land, but apparently there's a huge battle, like the local, and I wouldn't even call them government, but like the local board of people who kind of approve and zone things. I guess it is the government, but they
Yeah, the
approached us with
county.
the county. Yeah, they approached us saying like, "Hey, you guys can't do this." So we've canceled our event for now, and like the engines are revving, and we're basically
Why are
gathering
they
the
saying you can't
information.
do it?
I don't know. It's like what I've heard. It's like old school versus new school, right? They're kind of like a bunch of retired older folk. They don't really want business here. They don't want to see things advancing. So it's kind of this clash of the ages, the ones who are like comfortable being in control and the ones who want to bring innovation. And so we're going to battle. Like we're gonna bring ourselves forward and kind of fight back, I guess, and say like, hey, this is good for everyone. This is good for the community. You know,
Yeah, like I don't get
it's
it. What don't they want? They don't they don't want
it's
they don't
they don't
want
want
people and money to
businesses.
flow into that
Yeah, they want
area.
it to be like a rural residential space. They don't want to deal with like the noise and like parking and cars and all this. So we're kind of teaming up locally with all the other local businesses and kind of like I don't know, we're just starting to like converse, I guess, with the local community. So,
But isn't it already a tourist area? You've got multiple ski hills in the area.
hmm hmm there's a few ski resorts, but there's not much
Yeah,
going on here. There's not even like a strong cafe culture or something, you know, it's just farms. And the farms aren't doing too well either. Um,
so that makes a
so
lot of sense from the county perspective. Let's drive money out, keep people away, and let the locals just die on the vine.
that's what you that
Right.
yeah. And then we take their land. I don't know. I don't really know where it comes from.
So what would happen if you did it anyways? Like, what are they going to do?
Exactly. So that's kind of what we're making plans. We're like, because I guess they're trying to zone it as a rural residential area, but if we prove like, hey, this is already a functioning business, then maybe it's like kind of, I don't know, presses them away. So now we're organizing. We got a goal. We're gonna hit 10 million sales in 10 days. That's our audacious goal of the moment, to activate and um yeah, I guess lead with strength, right? Like they legally can't really do anything. Like if we're gonna build here, if we're gonna put a solar farm here, what are they gonna do?
Yeah, and I mean nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But have you met?
They like to threaten with force and violence to
Yeah.
control people, but
Uh-huh. But
at the
it,
end of the
yeah.
day,
At the end of the day,
what
we're
you're doing is
sovereign,
good for the area. It's
right?
good for the environment. It's designed to inspire other people to take these things on for themselves, not there, but at their own properties,
Mm-hmm.
which is also good for the environment. It's also smart, given that our current infrastructure around the food supply chain is seriously being tested. Um, it's so interesting. If you went to them and said, "Hey, we're going to spray poison all over this land," do you care? The poison's made by a big chemical giant. Do you care if we spray it all over the land? They'd go, no,
You
spray it some more,
didn't think
spray it
so?
some more, spray it some more.
So twisted.
Right?
Yeah.
But we are going to remove the poisons from the system. We're going to show people what's possible, and we're going to inspire others to start doing it for themselves. No, 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 no. You can't do that. We
Yeah.
can't have all these cars coming through here because it's a rural community that we got to keep pristine. But you can spray it with chemicals that are death.
Right. So
Anybody else
twisted.
see the issue with this?
Yeah. So thankfully we have strong leadership and we're just going for it. You know, we're not going to ask for permission. We're letting them know this is happening and we're asking for them to join, you know. Yeah, join the cause, I guess. Wake up.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, there's also other ways that you can do it where you stay in the private, putting that land into specific types of trusts and
hmm.
then utilizing private members associations and ministries. Just move things out of the public and into the private, and you solve all those problems because you
Then they
stay
have
out of their
nothing, they can't
jurisdiction.
touch you.
No, you operate in a different jurisdiction.
Okay. Yeah. I have to look into that. We might have some of that already.
Yeah,
Um,
look into trusts, and these aren't
mhm.
trusts that are built by generally a barred attorney, because the barred attorneys are working inside the a different jurisdiction. So they're going to build you something that plays and stays inside that same jurisdiction. Look into private members associations that are operated in the private, and everybody who comes onto the land becomes a member. They have to sign documentation when they come onto the land saying they're acting in the private. But they just got
Ministry,
to
you called it?
private members association.
Private Member Association. Okay. That's basically what we're creating.
Yeah. And then the
Anyway.
next stack
Yeah.
on top of that is a ministry.
Yeah. That's cool. I know
So having
already.
a combination of all those things in play just pulls yourself out of the nonsense of the county.
That's great. I gotta write that down. Ministry land trusts and private member association. Cool.
It's not just
Um,
land trusts, just trusts in general.
okay, just trusts. Got you.
Yeah, like a trust structure.
Hmm. Have you met Mayan, our
Yep,
CEO? Yeah,
I have. Yep, yep.
cool. Well, I'm curious how we could strengthen this partnership because I feel like so much alignment in our mission. You know, Terralux really wants to help bring forward, like you said, all these solutions are fragmented. So you brought them together into one platform. It's a very similar thing we're looking at doing, you know, how can collaboration actually create more awareness?
It's the only way forward. We can't do it all by ourselves. We have to collaborate. And there's so many people that are aware of many of the big challenges that are going on today that want to be a part of these things. And it's up to us to be leaders, to build those bridges, to
Right.
integrate and collaborate and to inspire and to continue getting out there on a day to day basis and showing people what's possible
Hmm.
that then drives them into action where they can then talk about, collaborate, expand, inspire others, right? And creating a snowball effect of change. We have to, we're not going to change the existing system. We must build a new system for those that want it and be able to turn our backs on the existing system.
Hmm.
And the ways to do it exist.
Hmm.
Don't take my word for it. Do research, find the experts, understand what's possible, make calculated decisions based on gathering all of the information. Just know that governmente, the mind controllers, want to ensure we're good, obedient sheep, that we do what we're told,
Yeah.
we don't ask questions, we don't ruffle the feathers, we just, are yes men.
Hmm.
But that's going to lead us to boiling water like frogs.
Hmm. Yeah, what's
And we're
coming to me is, sorry, what were you gonna say?
well, we're in the boiling water already.
We're in it.
It is speeding up rapidly.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest threat, or what is that breaking point? Like, how do you see it?
Well, we've got a number of our current systems are more fragile than any of us are aware of. Our
Hmm.
energy infrastructure is completely it's old, it's very fragile, it's being electrified at a rapid rate. All these data centers, these data centers that are coming online all over the place are using a whole small town's electricity in a matter of days.
Wow.
We got fragile water systems. Our soil health is completely degraded. We've got chemical giants with more power than the people. So poisons are sprayed all over our farm fields, all over our grass inside suburban areas. So that's poisoning our food system, the air, the water system. We've got problems with our global food supply chain because farms are so dependent on chemical inputs and fertilizers, which, oh, by the way, are dependent on oil byproducts that right now are tied up because we've got war happening. If these farmers don't get what they need to be able to grow food, oh, what's going to happen with all the food that we're used to having?
Yeah.
It's not going to be there. Most things on a store shelves are old. They've got a packet. They have a shelf life, but there's potential for famine right now because our food system is, pardon my language, effed. you
Yeah.
know And then we look at the global shipping and logistics network. There's boats all over the place, stranded, can't get into ports because of conflicts, don't have enough manpower in the ports. You've got crazy energy costs going up. You've got oil and gas infrastructure that's been smashed because of war. These are all things that have happened now, but the ripple effects of what's going to happen haven't been felt yet.
Right.
So we are in some trouble. We just don't feel it yet
Right.
because we're catching the reserves. But what happens when those reserves are burned through? Your average grocery store has 3 days worth of food. Uh-oh. If everybody panics, like what happens if all of a sudden you wake up one morning and the electricity grid has been hit with a cyber attack? And some of your audience might be going, "Oh, Matt's just a conspiracy theorist." Well, check the news. The news talks about the risks already of the electricity infrastructure and how it's very vulnerable to cybersecurity attacks,
Mm.
right? So imagine we wake up one morning and all the power's out everywhere. No, your phone's not working, and you go for days without these things. Panic sets in, right? People are stocking up finally at the grocery store. So what used to be 3 days worth of food is now bought all in one because people are panic buying. And next thing you know, grocery stores, gas stations, any supply places,
Everything's
they
out.
don't have the stuff. Then what happens? It's
Mm-hmm.
called chaos,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's called desperation.
Right.
And there's an old saying, desperate people do desperate things.
Yeah.
Most people have no food on hand, right? So
Maybe they're
what are you
not
going to do?
growing their own. Yeah.
Well, they're not growing their own. They also don't have anything stored. So what do? You're going to get, and this is more the extreme, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Just look through history. It's happened. When you end up in these severe situations, you get roving gangs of vigilantes that go around and, rob homes and steal food, and like food becomes more valuable than money,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, I'm not trying to paint a doom and gloom picture here, but the realities are that things are not as rosy as they seem.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the countries like Canada, the United States, the Western world, where we're so used to an abundance of stuff, people aren't prepared for the catastrophe,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they've
Yeah.
had just small examples, right? When you get hurricanes that hit areas and they're without power for days and big issues go on. What happens when days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months? Then what? You
Wow.
know?
Cartoon
So
nerd.
what we want to do is, inspire people, and don't do it out of fear. Just do it out of making a wise choice. Work with nature. Stop fighting nature. Farmers, and we love them. They're doing the best they can. But the truth is, they fight nature. If you look at a traditional monoculture farm
Mm.
where they utilize chemical inputs, they grow single crops, they fight nature
Mm.
every step of the way
Mm.
to produce a single crop that oftentimes is going to feed animals,
Mm-hmm.
not even to feed people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at nature, nature is naturally abundant. Nobody's feeding and watering my forest, but it still grows,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Nature's brilliant like that. There's diversity. there's not one plant growing, there's hundreds to thousands of varieties of species of plant life. We can grow in the same way on residential properties. Doesn't mean you have to get rid of all of your grass, but what it does mean is if you worked in harmony with nature and built a permaculture, permanent agriculture, food forest type of system, you could have a seriously diverse and abundant little food production space on your property.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's a perennial system, that means it comes back year over year over year without you having to be out there fighting nature and
Mm-hmm.
replanting and tilling your soil and doing all these things, right? And then if imagine everybody who's got a little bit of a yard or lived in the suburbs and has a larger yard, but what if everybody produced some? Then all of a sudden the stuff in the grocery store is in less demand. And what happens when you look at supply and demand? Well, if there's less demand and you have a bigger supply, prices come down. So now food becomes more affordable for people. I don't know about you, but here in Canada, food prices are skyrocketing. You know, a $50 shopping day to buy groceries is now turned into 120.
That's true.
And is that, do we think it's going to get cheaper as gas prices go up? Do we think it's going to get cheaper as supply infrastructure is challenged? No, it's going to all get more expensive. But if we all
Problem.
produced a little bit, that begins to make big changes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I was just contemplating like how much it seems like, 'cause something I've been contemplating is like if life as we know it is gonna collapse one day because the systems can't handle it, what's gonna happen spiritually? Like culturally, we're gonna have to go through a massive evolution of our values, of what we actually value. So just now as you were talking, I was kind of thinking about what is required to help people think less about me and a little bit more about the we. Obviously we can only like go so far with that, right? Like we have to take care first of ourselves and our family. But like how do we start bringing a little more of that into into practice, into play? Because I'm imagining, it's if food systems were to collapse, hopefully, I'm really hoping, I talked about this with Rob also, before it gets to that point, we can help more people implement some of these practices, right? Like Flourish Food Systems. I heard that the goal is to turn 30% of lawns across America into food gardens. Have you heard that one?
Yep. Uh-huh.
Something like that. And I just think that's really admirable and it feels actually possible. But people are going to have to even awaken to the idea that that's a step they should consider, right? And not from this place of panic. So it's like such an interesting mission that we're stewarding here. It's like, how do we wake people up? Because it's urgent without, you know, blowing the alarms, or how do we encourage people in the right direction? So it's just something that I like to think about
Yeah,
culturally.
there's a difference between people who are typically living in the cities and people who are living more rural life. The cities, the bigger the city, the more people tend to think about themselves,
Right.
aren't as friendly on the streets. They've got just a different life experience. The more packed together people are, it
The more
changes.
disconnected you become.
It seems like it.
Somehow.
And then as you get further out into the rural areas where they actually is more space, you tend to have stronger community support. where you get to know your neighbor in a different way. Like I said, I lived out on 100 acres, and I built more relationships with the people that lived in that area than when I lived in an apartment building right in downtown Ottawa.
Mm.
Like,
Hmm.
wild,
Yeah.
you know? And unfortunately, if we're living in the cities like that, they're going to be slower to act. So, the strategy that I'm thinking about for people is, if you're aware of this stuff, get out and make friends with your small growers around your big city. Get out and maybe see if you can get out of the city and go live more in a rural community, because there you have more self sufficiency, more resiliency than you do inside the big cities. Right? If you're living in an apartment building and you realize that probably 95% of the people in that building don't have any more than a couple days worth of food in their home, what's going to happen when there's no food in your grocery stores? Right? You're going to have a lot more chaos in big cities. And again, here's something that I just want to touch on. None of this is to spread fear, but those who fail to look at history are planning to fail.
Mm.
And there's been
Yeah, what
roughly
does
the
history
neighborhood
show?
80 to 100 famines.
Really?
Famines. 80 to 100 famines.
Throughout what? Like collective human
Just the
history?
last 200 years.
What?
Yeah.
80 to 100. Is it based on like location? Like it will affect a
Yeah,
certain region?
there's been like local areas,
Yeah.
but there's been massive famines that have already happened in many other countries
Wow.
that have killed millions and millions and millions of people.
Wow.
That's just in the last 200 years.
You don't really hear about it so much, though, do you?
No,
You're not talking locally, you're
but those
like
are
saying globally?
real. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
the point of all of it is that
Mm-hmm.
just because it hasn't happened here yet doesn't mean it can't happen here
Yeah.
ever,
Yeah.
right? The US, if you look at how many superpowers have risen and fallen, the greatest empires, have every one of them lasted? No.
Mm-hmm.
They all hit points of collapse. The US has been a global superpower for how long now, right? It's one of the greatest empires ever built.
Mm-hmm.
But geopolitics right now, like we're potentially entering a world war. Right? How many countries are at war today? There's a lot.
Mm.
It's not just, the United States and Iran and Israel and Iran. You've got a lot of conflict. All of that conflict, Russia, Ukraine, China, Taiwan, Iran, Israel, US, Lebanon, all these other Gulf states that are being impacted by these conflicts. Do you think that makes moving goods across the world easier or harder?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
So
I'm surprised we haven't felt it more yet.
well, yeah, but what we are feeling already is massively impactful. Like,
Mm.
just another example, gasoline in Canada, we buy it per liter. I know you guys are per gallon, but per liter. We were, prior to this war starting, ranging anywhere from like $1.15 per liter up to really high times of $1.45 per liter. We've hit
Hmm.
$2 a liter now. So we've added about 50 cents per liter to our cost of gasoline.
Wow.
That's not a little bit, that's a lot of an increase.
That's true.
It,
Has
inside
it
the
gone up the
it's
same
been
amount
90.
here?
Oh yeah. And we've had
I'm not driving these
different
days, so.
states different states are pricing slightly different, just like different provinces are slightly different. Different areas have different costs. But on average, it's gone up
Mhm.
substantially everywhere. And now what happened, and we're not even 90 days into this conflict in Iran with Israel and the United States.
Mhm.
And we forget that part of what's happened over there is there's been the largest natural gas facility in the Middle East has been sustained tens of billions of dollars in damage. Some of the largest oil fields in the Middle East have sustained tens of billions of dollars in damage. That's not
Yeah.
infrastructure that you just snap your fingers and it's all of a
Right.
sudden built up again,
That's a
right?
lot.
Three
Yeah.
these are 3 to
So we
5 year
haven't even
rebuild
fully
projects.
felt the effects yet. That's what you're saying.
Not even close.
It's
Not
not
even close.
even. Wow.
No, not even close.
Okay.
And I was saying, look at the fertilizers. Nitrogen fertilizer is a critical component to growing food in monoculture farm systems.
Hmm.
And we've got this Strait of Hormuz that's been closed. Well, that means there's how many tankers of like shipping tankers with nitrogen fertilizers that are stuck and not able to get to the farm fields that need them. And I don't know about you, but we're approaching the end of May. I feel like the growing season in northern climates, northern US, Canada, northern Europe, Ukraine, right? A lot of these big production areas, their planting window is closing,
Yeah.
right? So what happens if,
Mhm.
let's just even go high, what happens if only 75% of the existing farms are able to produce what they normally produce?
Mhm.
Huge, huge impact that we can't even really fathom.
Right.
What happens if it's 50% don't get planted? What happens if it's 80% don't get planted? Then what? So there's a lot of things that are happening that we're not prepared for
Mhm.
and not really truly aware of,
Mhm.
right? We live over here, so we're like, it's over there. It's not really affecting us.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, it's 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 affecting us, and it's going to affect us in big ways.
Mhm.
You know, what happens if China attacks Taiwan and they take back Taiwan? Uh-oh. What does that mean? Again,
Mhm.
major shipping routes, again, major infrastructure systems. The United States has been protecting Taiwan for a long time. Does that mean the United States and China are going to now enter into some sort of conflict? You know, and the even worst thing about all this is none of the people want this stuff.
Mhm.
You know, none of the Americans or Canadians or Iranians, you know, the Iranian people in general, they're not mad at everybody. You know, the vast majority of the global population today is love, not war.
That's true.
Vast, like probably 95% of the global population is non-violent, non-hate, all love, wants to have a great life, loves their children,
You think it's
family,
that high?
community. Absolutely.
I don't know. I doubt it.
It's a small percentage of people that are full of hate and want war. Even if it's 10%, which I would doubt, that still means
Yeah.
90% of people don't want anything to do with this. Right? We just want to live a good life. We just want to love our families and our children and our friends, and we're not interested in committing crime or hurting other people. Like, the numbers are overwhelmingly strong on the we just want to enjoy our life and love our families side.
Hmm.
It's governments who are fighting. It's not the people. It's powerful people in powerful places with in a club that we're not involved in that are doing these evil things. In
Yeah, I
my
like to say
opinion.
vote. I like to say vote with your energy. You could also say vote with your dollar, right? But like, if I don't believe I'm gonna change any of that. I can't even affect it. But
No, we're not. No.
if I want to see a more peaceful world, how do I embody that and live that in my day-to-day life as a way of cultivating that instead of
Yeah.
fighting it, right? So it's almost like I feel this like ignorance is bliss keeps coming up. I feel like we have been normalized and numbed almost into this blissful ignorance. And I feel energetically something is happening. Like I feel it's sort of like the doom and gloom of, oh, it's more just like looking around and saying, how is this all gonna last? It doesn't make sense to me. The cost of
Yeah.
food compared to the minimum wage and how expensive basic living is, I'm just like, I don't understand how it's gonna continue in this way. So I've just been feeling this undercurrent of collapse that I hope it won't get to that point, but um there's like a certain weather of change. So it's almost like, okay, well, we can choose to stay numb in the ignorance of, oh, well, it's just government or it's just them or what can I do? There's nothing we can do. And then we just go on, watching our TV, eating our junk food, staying in our comfort zone rather than actually waking up to whatever we have in our own hands to make a change, you know? Or to build a bridge, even if it's with you and your neighbor. And it's just so easy to stay in those little ignorant pockets, but this like undercurrent is getting louder, and I feel like that's part
Oh
of
yeah.
the awakening that more and more people are, like you said, looking for solutions and maybe don't know where to look. So it's like our job to get out there and say, hey, there's other ways. There's these resources. There's these experts, there's these technologies, but it's a challenge because there's so much noise out there.
Yeah. Well, it's
um
what I said earlier. You don't change the existing system. You build a new thing that makes the old
mhm,
thing obsolete.
mhm,
And the great news is the solutions exist to build a better way. It's just a matter of the people taking their power back and doing the things.
mhm,
And the more of us that do that, the more it creates that tension where certain groups can create more self sufficiency and freedom for themselves and unlock that abundance that already exists.
mhm,
The system doesn't care about me and you. They like to pretend they do, which is why they give out handouts, right? It's why
right.
you've got the different socialist things that are given to everybody, but they don't really care about us. Like I said, they don't want you bringing all these people to your location in upstate New York. Meanwhile, they'll let farmers spray millions of pounds of death on their farms.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's
Yeah, it's
they
really
don't really care
backwards.
about
There's really anti-life, really
it.
an
Yeah.
anti-life agenda that's ruling the stage for a long
Yeah.
time, and I feel like it's cool to see how more and more people have really awoken to that. Like it's no longer a conspiracy theory. I feel like we all agree that things are not being run in our favor, and yet we all still comply, right? They give out
Uh-huh.
handouts to keep us passive and compliant, and it feels
Exactly.
difficult. Really, what is the alternative? Making a change is much harder than staying in what's familiar. So I would love to ask, maybe if you could elaborate a bit more, what does that actually look like, taking our power back? What does that actually entail? What kind of change would a person need to make in their life to, engage in something new?
Well, start simple. You don't have to go see that, and that's another part of what slows people down is they think they have to do all. Like it's a huge undertaking.
Hmm.
And yes, doing all of it can be a large undertaking. But you don't need to do all of it. You just need
Right.
to start. Do something. Do something every month or something every quarter that begins to make you less reliant on the overall system.
Hmm. Baby
And the more
steps.
of us that do that, the things that will happen because of it are significant. Like
Yeah.
if more people produced some of their own food, as we already talked about, that would reduce demand in the grocery store. And when you look at just basic supply and demand economics, it would force prices to come down because the demand has decreased,
Mm. Okay. I like that approach. It's like a way of
right?
naturally offsetting some of the imbalance,
It's the
if
same
not
thing
becoming
with,
fully self-reliant.
yeah, it's just starting small. It's the
Hmm.
same thing with like the energy optimization technology and the water optimization technologies. If you can reduce your costs on these two things that you have literally zero control on the pricing structure of, but you reduce the amount that you consume because you've implemented technologies, and then you take those savings to pay for that implementation of the technology, you've freed up more electricity on the existing energy infrastructure,
Hmm.
which helps the whole system. So there's a lot of that kind of thing that we can all take little bites of the big elephant, if you will,
I like
that
that.
make a
Hmm.
big difference.
Yeah.
And the more people we inspire just to start, the bigger the overall impact. Right? Said another way, if you had 8 billion people take $1 out of the bank, right? You've got $8 billion out of circulation, but it's only a buck. But that compounded day over day over day, everybody doing a little bit makes a
Yeah.
massive impact.
Yeah. I think that has been one of the biggest things I've been really learning and implementing into my life. Is I used to, as this like, I'm a visionary, I have big dreams, but I would feel so paralyzed as to how to
Yeah.
take it all on because it would all feel so big. So I've learned over time that these baby steps they eventually lead to quantum leaps. Not only that, they actually compound over time. So what feels so like giant and overwhelming in the beginning gradually becomes more and more effortless. Kind of like working out. In the beginning, there's much more resistance to it than when you've built some strength and it actually gives you energy to get stronger. There's like a momentum to it where you don't have to work as hard to experience the benefit of the results. from putting in that effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
been really
just doing
helping
a
me.
little bit over
Yeah.
time makes a big result in a long time.
Yeah.
So focus on just doing little bits, taking small steps. Again, that statement, how to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. You know, it's not about eating the whole elephant in the first bite. How do you change your self-sufficiency? Start buying extra bags of rice every time you go to the grocery store,
Mhm.
right? Buy a couple extra things of canned food. Is canned food the absolute best for you? No, but if you're in a pinch, I'd rather have canned food than no food,
Yep.
right? Work to get yourself 6 months of food reserves
That's an
so you
interesting
can
idea.
navigate. Yeah, so you can navigate a time without food potentially,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just like, having 30 to 60 to 90 days worth of money. So if you ever lost your job, you had funds to help you through that time. Similar things now. Start buying seeds. Get yourself an area that you're planting perennial foods in. Get a small food forest design for your property. Then plant
Yep.
that, bring it to life. Get some food growing on your property.
So
Maybe year one it's not giving you.
are you helping people to implement that with Food
Yep,
Flourish? Yeah?
yep, yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I got 5 years of doing this stuff
Mm-hmm.
with Food Forest Abundance and Flourish
Yeah.
Food Systems
So
and the and the
you're
Commonstead.
yeah. So you're consulting people on how to implement, these systems of change.
Yes,
Yep. Cool.
every day.
Day by day. Awesome. Thank you, Matthew. I think we can tie it up for now.
Yeah.
There's so much more we could talk about.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
lots to say, but yeah,
That
the
was great.
reality is there's
Yeah.
hope. There's lots of solutions. Don't think you
There we
have to
go.
do it all on day one. Do a little bit
Mm-hmm.
at a time. Implement
Mm-hmm.
it slowly. It'll produce big results over time. But get out there and take some action. Because the more of
Mm-hmm.
us that do, the better it'll be in the long run. If
Yep.
we do hit, let's just say, a big food issue, and there was a whole portion of the population that started growing some of their own food and was storing some food, that would mean there's more available for those that don't have it in the time of trouble.
Yep. So
Right? So just,
taking active care of ourselves preemptively is also like a service to
yeah.
support the collective, the community. Interesting. I haven't
Yeah.
thought about it that way. Mm-hmm.
And if you look at how some of these countries navigated, even look at World War II, they had victory gardens in the United States. It was promoted heavily. It just meant that lots of people focused on growing some food at home.
They called it victory gardens like after the war?
Victory gardens. No, it was
Why?
like
Because
during the war.
because
During
they
the
had
war,
like okay, because they had food shortages and stuff.
there was food
Yeah.
issues. Yep.
Okay. Victory
So in
gardens.
times like people are resilient, but in times of struggle, they're forced to get resilient.
True.
So instead of waiting till you're forced, why not get ahead of it and start doing a bit now?
Mm-hmm.
But if everybody grew just a little bit of their own food, oh, what a difference it would make in times of challenge,
Totally.
right? So it's the same with all of these things. Do a little bit, it makes a big difference. And
Mm-hmm.
every year or every month or every quarter, do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
You make me want to
And it's
start
tough.
stacking some cans.
I mean, I would. I've got cupboards and cupboards and cupboards and
Yeah,
big bins and like tons of it.
that's great.
Just in case.
Yep. You never know.
I'd rather just in case now than just not have if needed,
Right.
right?
They They can call you the crazy apocalyptic guy. It's fine. You're gonna be good.
Hey, we rotate it out.
That's a joke.
Things go bad, we use them, but I'd rather have it and not need it than not have it and need it.
Totally. Gotta think ahead for uncertain times. And yeah, be open to the evolution.
Yeah,
Be
and
open to
you look throughout history, these things aren't they it's not that they haven't happened before.
right.
And when things have happened before, they can happen again.
Yeah.
Just because it hasn't happened here, well, actually it did. Remember that thing called the Great Depression,
Yeah.
right? 100 years ago? It was the 1920s, I think.
Not even that long ago. I'm so
Not that long
curious what that
ago.
would be like. Hope it
You never
doesn't
know.
ever
We may find
happen,
out.
but yeah, we might. Big changes are coming. That's what I feel. So,
There's definitely things on the horizon.
yeah. Well, it's an honor to be
Definitely
on
things on the
mission.
horizon.
Was
Yeah,
that?
you too. I said there's
Yeah.
definitely things on the horizon. And yeah, it's an honor
Yeah.
to be on with you too and be in alignment. And I look forward to just continuing to collaborate, helping Big Hollow Green continue to advance its mission, getting the word out, and making the best impact that we can, and hopefully inspiring other
Yeah.
people to at least learn and take some action themselves.
Exactly. Baby steps.
Yep.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah. Thank you too, Rachel.
All right. Well, talk soon.
All right. Have an amazing day. Okay.
You too. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much for your time.
You're welcome.